Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Surely y'all have read the title. The title is about is in jail, never to get out. And shout out to Pam, the law intellect for this. Let's get it.
Earth's surface engravings. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest. Not a bit of conflict or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they like their agendas are disappointing.
Hello, everyone. It is me, Pam Esquire, also known as your Law Intellect. Thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday afternoon, February 12th, 2026. I missed you all. I've been working really, really hard. And I said I needed to come on to talk about what had happened today in court. So, what had happened was many people, including you all, I never really got a chance to talk about Naziah Harris. Many asked me, was I going to talk about her? She is the young lady from Detroit that was unalived by Jarvis Butts. Jarvis Butts has pled guilty today. Now, after the Naziah Harris incident occurred,
Sorry, I got paused it for a second. One of the very first people I ever talked about on my channel was Jarvis Bust and Nasiah Harris. And I believe that Pam will point out it wasn't Jarvis Butts who, in my opinion, should have been arrested. There was also people associated with Jarvis Butts that also should have been arrested, and I want to talk about that here as well. Back to Pam.
several people started coming forward and other kids came forward related to him that he had been essaying them. And so he has a plethora of cases over there in Wayne County Circuit Court.
As he
And so
should.
every time he turned around, he had some new date. Well, today he had a pre-trial because he was scheduled for trial in 2 weeks. And I was going to cover it. I was going to go there and I was going to cover it because many of you wanted me to cover that case. And it was a difficult case because of the allegations. It was just, if you watch the preliminary examination, a lot of it was very, very difficult to stomach. Um, this case was quite disturbing, especially
Beyond
since
disturbing.
Jarvis Butts had went to prison for the exact same thing before. I believe he had done about 10 years. hmm
Yeah, 10 to
And
12
he gets out
years.
after the 10 years and just got out and started doing the exact same thing. So what was alleged is that Jarvis Butts opened up I think he owned some type of a mechanic shop. Now, if you are a single mother or even just a woman in general, oftentimes when your car break down, you try to go get your car fixed, right? And so because of that, if it appeared that Jarvis would flirt with a lot of single mothers that had daughters. And then once he would get a relationship,
Pause. I got pauses. To the single mothers, beware, beware, beware.
with the mothers, somehow he ended up messing with the daughters. Now with Naziah, I'm sorry, she was like a relative of the baby mama. It was so much drama going on in this case, it was just insane. So as we speak today, I'm sure there are relatives online. Relatives have been going back and forth. Relatives blaming that relative, and you knew and that knew, and you went to birthday parties because there were allegations where some of the relatives knew he was on the sex offenders list, and so because he did the 10 years, so he's on the list, and people weren't like calling DPD like, yo, we have this registered sex offender over here with all of these kids at a birthday party. Y'all might want to come pick them up. All right. And so there were some relatives that claimed that they tried to report them or they called CPS and nothing happened. But of course, people are blaming and pointing fingers that everybody could have done something different. But it was, when you look at all of the different cases, there's allegations of STDs that were allegedly transferred. There's allegations of like little kids, kids related. It's just, it's a lot.
Yeah,
It was a
it's a
lot with
lot.
that case. And so I was going to, like I said, because it is in my neck of the woods, I said, I really don't want to even be bothered with this case. But a lot of people wanted to get the inside, the inside court information. So I was definitely going to cover it. Well, today, like I said, he had his pretrial. And in that pretrial, he has pled guilty to 6 counts, I think, altogether. And then he's getting some of his charges are going to be dismissed. Now, his sentencing is not till next month. Part of that sentencing is he is going to have to give a factual basis. And he is going to have to answer whatever questions that the prosecution asks. So what does that mean? That means he is going to have to more than likely say how he did the things that he did, especially when it came to Naziah, because that was the unaliving charge, where the body is at, all of that, and that will probably be on the record. So I'm going to go to that because I want to see exactly what he acknowledges and admits to.
Granger knows that if you're a school custodian, cleanliness is your top priority. That's why you can rely on Granger for a range of cleaning products and equipment, from disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
So here we are. I'm going to pull up one of the articles because, of course, this is something local here. So a lot of our local stations were covering it. We've heard, like I said, from a lot of people over the course of the last year or so. Heard from a lot of family members and friends and all type of people. And like I said, everybody's pointing fingers at everybody. I feel like everybody failed her. I don't feel like anybody can point a
Yeah.
finger. I
The
don't
whole
feel like
village
anybody
failed that
posting,
child.
cussing another person out and all of that makes it better. Because the thing is this, if that man did 10 years in prison and he was on the sex offenders list, all y'all knew about it, and he was at these parties. He was around kids. He was at he had kids that were working for him, cleaning up the shop where women were letting their kids go there so they can clean up his shop, and he was doing God knows what. And y'all know he wasn't supposed to be around kids. So it's hard for me to just
Mm-mm.
say, you right, you should have
The
did that.
parents
No,
ain't
it
worth a
sounds
damn.
like everybody failed her. And in the
Whole
preliminary
damn
examination,
village.
what was interesting were they were pulling up the text messages, and she felt like she was in a relationship with this guy. It,
What?
all right, let me pull up the article. I don't like it online. There's a couple of people, I ain't gonna name no names because this is my neighborhood, but it's a couple of people online. And I'm like, if y'all don't be quiet, like seriously, none of y'all can point fingers at anybody else because everybody failed this young lady and all the other kids. And then you got the baby mama. You keep having kids by this cat. So all I could come up with is maybe because he ain't a bad looking guy. That is some of these women that just wouldn't get nobody that looked halfway decent, and so they were just allowing stuff because they had some self-esteem issues. I don't know, but there's no way. There's just no way that I know that you messing with some little kid in my family. and I'm still just gonna be kicking it with you. That's just not gonna happen. Anyway, y'all hit the like button. That was my little diatribe. You said hopefully he will let law enforcement know what he did with that baby's remains. So allegedly, according to a source, but we won't know until his sentencing when he'll probably do a factual statement because we all want to know. We all want to know what happened to the body. Allegedly, he dumped the body over, I think, on the west side on Rouge River or something like that. But you said Shannon let the devil in. Well, again, he also was getting a lot of women from that repair shop, and he was working with other people because one of the people that he works with, they were, I think they testified at preliminary examination as well, that he had young girls there and all of that. It was a lot of people. I don't even think it necessarily had to be family. It could have just been people around. There's just no way. You heard that it was a river too. You said, I mean, I don't know, how old is that guy? I don't think he's getting out. Even with his plea, I don't think he's getting out. Let me see how old he is. Jarvis. Y'all, please hit the like button because you know I ain't been on it forever. So we need to make sure people know that I actually did come on. So he's 43. All right, let's pull this up real quick. Hold on. See how I want to do this. All right, so let's see what Channel 4 has to say over here in Detroit. It says the man who pleaded guilty to murdering missing Detroit teen Naziah Harris admitted to dumping her body, a source told Local 4. Jarvis Butts was charged with numerous felonies in 2025 in connection with Harris's disappearance and murder, as well as a separate sexual assault case involving an 8-year-old relative and another young girl. He pleaded guilty to several charges in 6 different cases, including second-degree murder. Harris, a 13-year-old J.E. Clark Preparatory Academy student, went missing in January of 2024. Her body has not been found. On February 12, 2026, just under 2 weeks before his trial was scheduled to begin, Butts entered guilty pleas in 6 different cases during his pretrial hearing. Here are the charges Butts pleaded guilty to. Count 1. He pleaded guilty to 1 count of second-degree criminal sexual conduct with a sentence agreement of 10 to 15 years in prison. Count 2, he pled guilty to 1 count of second-degree CSC with a sentence agreement of 10 to 15 years in prison. So I'm just going to say CSC so I don't have to keep saying actual. Butts pleaded guilty to second-degree murder with a sentence agreement of 35 to 60 years. So he won't be eligible for parole for 35 years. So he'll be like 70, 77. And you know, they don't like them charges in prison. So good luck. He'd be like 78.
Good, maybe he'll die in prison.
Butts pleaded guilty to second-degree criminal sexual conduct with a sentence agreement of 10 to 15 years in prison. Butts pleaded guilty to third-degree CSC with a sentence agreement of 10 to 15 years in prison. Butts pleaded guilty to second-degree CSC with a sentence agreement of 10 to 15 years in prison. As part of a plea agreement, some additional charges in the 6 cases were dismissed. According to court records, all sentences will run concurrently with the 6 cases. So they're going to all run together. So the most he'll be in there is the 35 years till he's up for parole. He is expected to be sentenced on March 12th, 2026 at 12 p.m. I wonder if they're going to stream this. Should I go in and watch it, or should I stream it with you all? I don't know. I got decisions to make real quick. Hold on, I got a trial in March. Let me look at my calendar real quick. Oh, it's not till the 16th. That works. March 12th, I'm free. All right. Jarvis Butts admits to dumping teen's body. A source told Local 4 that Butts admitted to dumping Harris's body in Rouge River near 7 Mile and Berg, where police initially searched for the 13-year-old girl. Officials previously said that officers found an inside out pink jumpsuit, a black jacket, and a red and black shoe near the intersection of 7 Mile and Berg when they initially were searching for her. A U.S. Border Patrol officer assisting in the case previously testified in court that the clothing he found had not been there for a long period of time, as there was no discoloration in the clothing and no evidence of animals getting into it. He described the clothing looking fresh. A witness also testified in court that she found Harris's school ID on the sidewalk near 7 Mile and Evergreen, about a mile and a half away from where Butts admitted to dumping the teen's body in March of 2024. She says she stepped over the ID for 2.5 weeks from a nearby bus stop before deciding to pick it up. When she picked up the ID that was face down, she recognized the girl's name because she had heard about her disappearance on the news. She took the bus to a local gas station to put the ID on a lid to prevent any more fingerprints and called the police.
Two pizzas and two sides for just $19.99? Mm-hmm. Domino's Perfect Combos got you covered.
So here's the background. On January 9th, 2024, 13-year-old Naziah Harris got off the school bus in the area of Cornwall Street and 3 Mile, which is near the intersection of Warren Avenue and Outer Drive on Detroit's east side. She was never seen again. Naziah's grandmother says she started getting concerned when she learned she didn't get home that night, but she waited until the morning of January 10th to report her missing to authorities. On the same day Naziah went missing, Jarvis Butts was scheduled to turn himself in to authorities on a gun charge. However, this was pushed back to February. Prosecutors said Butts was supposed to turn himself in to authorities on a gun charge on January 9, 2024, the day Naziah went missing, but that date was pushed back to February. Harris allegedly met up with Butts that day, and the two reportedly went to Ypsilanti. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Trying to make sure that I could. I was trying to make it bigger. It ain't looking like I can do that. Hold on. I hope y'all can see me all right. Let me see. Do it like that. You know, why I seem so small? I don't know. Hold up. All right, I'll do it like that. Hey, good to see y'all. It was pushed back because he said he had to take care of some business. Who waits the next day? How can you sleep? Bible lady said he never intended for her body to be found because she was pregnant, and that would have been proof of his, yeah. That is, I agree with you. I think that's a good assessment. So he dumped the new body. He is a monster. Yeah, this case is terrible. All right, y'all, keep hitting that like button. Let me finish this. He was tracked to the Rouge River in Detroit the day after her disappearance, where police would later recover the clothes Harris was last seen wearing. Authorities said there was damage to the clothing that would indicate a struggle. Butts was charged with first-degree premeditated murder, CSC, not child sexually abusive material, and second-degree CSC with the person. While he was facing charges in connection with Harris's death, Butts was charged with additional felonies after an 8-year-old family member came forward accusing him of actually assaulting them. So this is the Naziah Harris. We were going to follow it for those of you that are coming in. He has pled
I'll be right
guilty,
back, y'all.
and, and I was trying to see if they had some of these text messages. Okay. He has pled guilty and he is scheduled to be sentenced on March 12th of 2026. So these are some of the text messages that came out during the preliminary examination. Um, and the officer in charge, Sergeant Shannon Jones, had read the messages during the preliminary examination, if you all watched it, which was January 9th of 2025. Little bit over a year ago, the text messages revealed Butts was allegedly sending sexually explicit messages and asked her for nude photos. Um, hold on. This mug went back to the, hold on. Did it click over? So that's what I get for playing in this here studio. Hold on 1 second. That's why I stick to what I know. Let me see what you have to say. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for being a member for 17 months. You said the creep essayed his daughter. That is an allegation, yes. Yeah. So, like I said, we're going to get more detail when it's time for the actual sentencing because he is going to do a factual basis. And then, according to the article and what was said in court, the prosecutors are going to be able to ask whatever questions they want to ask, and he's going to have to answer them. So if he decides he don't want to answer the questions, they could take the plea deal away. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. I really do. Yes, thank you for supporting. It's been a minute. I know I haven't been on, so sorry about that, guys. I'm going to do better. Okay, let me try to pull up these text messages again.
Bub, you dip into hot au jus? Firefighter approved.
Alka-Seltzer Plus Sinus Congestion and Pain Liquid Gels. Nothing works faster.
So this was supposed to be a text messages. They were translated and spelled the way Jones specified or said when testifying in court on Thursday. So on September 27, 2022, Naziah Legacy said, "Come on," and then asked him, "You okay?" And then Naziah said, "Where are we doing it at? Your choice." And Bud said, "You tell me." So he wasn't responding until she said something about doing it. So nasty. Harris said, "The basement."
Nasty bastard.
Harris said, "You sure?" And Harris said, "Or the job." Bud said, "Can you suck my, please? And make sure you erase the messages." Harris said, "Kay, that is what I plan to do." June 5th, 2022, Bud said, "I'm at your house." Harris said, "Damn, we were just there." Harris said, "You better not be in my room. I need another phone. I miss you." Bud said, "I stole your panties." June 24th of 2023, Bud said, "Send me some pictures, please." She said, "Don't you still got the other pics?" He said, "No." She said, "I will send some." June 27, 2023, Bud said, "Are you naked yet?" Harris said, "No, I don't want to get naked." "Are you mad I didn't get naked?" Bud said, I used to you telling me no." Harris said, "Come on, babe. I'm sorry. Just not in the mood right now. I'm sorry." This was a whole kid.
Sick son of a
September
bitch.
26th,
Sick bastard.
2023. Harris said, "Babe, you what?" He ain't respond, so she got question marks. Then she says, "Yeah." So Harris says, "My period haven't come at all." "Hello, you there?" So he crickets. He ain't responding to that. But said, "What do you mean?" Harris said, "It have not come." He said, "Since when?" She said, "Since I was in the hospital." He said, "That was last month." She like, duh, that's why I'm telling you. Harris said, "I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I have to go to the doctor's tomorrow." Bud said, "You said you took a pregnancy test and it was negative." She said, "It did." Bud says, so go get another one." She said, "I can't have no money. You go get one. You ain't scared to get a plan B? Get a pregnancy test and bring it later today. Just act like have to use the bathroom. Please? Will you do it? Hello?" So he used to probably just be ignoring her text and then coming back to it later after he do a God knows what. He says, "Okay." November 27, 2023. Harris says, "I just want to talk. I really don't want to
Fucking
lose you.
predator.
Can we talk later? Yes or no? I don't want your problem, but I need you to bring me what I need tonight. It's hard doing all this gym ish with this baby. And if I don't do them, I'm going to get an F." January 9th of 2024. This is the final text exchange between Butts and Harris before she went missing. Harris said, "Don't forget, be there before 3. I will let you know when I'm leaving the school. If you're not there, I will wait. Send, okay, if you see the message so I can delete your number." He said, "Okay." So that's the last message between them before she ended up going missing. Thank you so much, Peachy Bama. For those that don't know, I did have a birthday last week. I was in the membership, so the members know all about it, and we kicked it for a minute. And thank you all so much for all the birthday cheer and the cash apps and the super chats. I appreciate it. It said he's a monster. Well, he has pled. He has pled guilty. So now we are going to await so that we can see all of the facts related to this case, of which we should know soon in about 30 days. Thank you, the Tall Glass. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody. I appreciate it. So yeah, that is again the reason why I never really I was on somebody else's channel. There is another um YouTuber from, well, I don't know, she calls herself YouTuber, but she does come on and do a lot of Michigan-based cases. And when the Naziah Harris situation first came, because I was a mod over on her channel, she was streaming a lot of the Naziah Harris stuff, and she had some of the family members on there. So that's how I got familiar, and I was asking all type of questions while I was on there. Thank you so much for the super chat, Queen Shadina. I appreciate it. So she was like doing it over there at the Community Advocacy Network. And so that was the first time, and I seen how the family was, and I was like, man, I don't even know if I even could stomach this case. That's kind of like where I was with it, because it just kept getting worse and worse. And then I was hearing people that were giving all this information about how bad this man was, but I just could not reconcile how he was allowed to do this for so long. I'm like, so nobody has any brothers, nobody has a daddy, nobody has a best friend that's a male, ain't no uncles, ain't no male cousins, like nothing. I just couldn't understand how everyone could sit up here on these platforms and talk about what they knew, what they saw, whose fault it was, and all of that, and everybody was getting their screen time, but this baby was missing. This baby was having a baby by a grown man who has this history that everybody knew about. There's no way in the world you're gonna be on an ex offenders list, and I'm just gonna have you all up in my house.
And ain't
It's
no
just
way in
not
the
happening.
hell.
You ain't invited nowhere. Like none of that. That's just not gonna happen. So it was just very difficult from that standpoint where I just was not as objective as I felt like I should be to really present this case. So and y'all know typically I try to be unbiased. I didn't come back until he said he was guilty. All right. That's how biased I was. I was like, he did everything he said he did. That's kind of what I was thinking in my head. Everything they said he did. And so now that he pled guilty, now I want to talk about it now that he pled guilty. So that's why we're talking about it today. And I'm going to be at that sentencing. Either I'm going to be at the sentencing or I'll see if they stream it. Maybe we'll watch it together. I don't know. But I think I might want to go up there because I just want to see him. I want to see if he's going to take that mask off. Because he's had that mask on. Like, we haven't worn masks in court in I don't know how long. So he's still wearing that same mask. It looked dirty. Then he all timid, looking all like scared and everything. I'm like, bro,
Go to
everything
hell.
about him was aggravating my soul.
Go to
So
hell.
he said he's a coward. He'll have it on.
Of course he a coward. He a pussy.
He targeted. I'm sorry, I missed yours. Oops, sorry, y'all moving too fast. These insecure, Barney near looking 304s will do anything to have a man. That includes sacrificing their
Sure
children
hell
or any
will.
child.
You know well-prepared workdays land right on time. There's Granger for the ones who get it done.
Shannon, the aunt, had 5 kids by him. She knew, and CPS has removed her children. Yeah, I did hear
They
that. I
should have
figured
been took
something
her
was gonna happen
children.
with her because,
Nasty bitch.
and then the way they testified, like I think everyone was testifying that were close to her in a way, I guess, to absolve.
Had 5 kids with the man. Knew about his record. And didn't give a damn. Disgusting.
Themselves. Like people worried about the public's perception of how they would come across. You know, the grandma, like somebody said about why you wait till the next day. We don't know if she runs away and spends the night, out a lot. So I try to give a little bit of grace when it comes to that, because some kids, some teenagers have their moments, and maybe she had a historical pattern of leaving. I don't know. So I didn't necessarily find that as alarming, but yeah, like that, the stuff I heard about the aunt, I was like, and then I seen the pictures. I was like, yeah, she looking like a hood booger from the deep east. That's what she was looking like. So you said that entire family is full of monsters. Really? Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. Do elaborate.
But they are hood boogers though, and that's for
Do the
damn
grandmother
sure.
still have the other kids? Do anybody have that answer? That's another thing, Nikki Williams. Okay, so you said the case sat in the school for 30 days before Detroit police got it. Here's the problem, too. There was a case here, and if you guys watch any true crime stories, you probably heard it. There was a lady here. I don't know what it is with Detroit public schools, and I hate to generalize it, but it just seems like there's a disconnect of some sort, because there was a lady where she killed 2 of her kids and had them in a freezer. You can look it up, in her house. So that means they did not go to school for like 2, 3 years. And it took somebody came
Two,
in
3 years.
to try, I think she was getting evicted or something, and they came in to remove the freezer, and they seen that they identified the bodies, they smelled it and whatever. And then had the other kids help her to unalive the kid. And I think it was a mental health problem that was going on, because it was an allegation that she was saying one of the kids was molesting one of the other kids or whatever, but now the kids have done like interviews, and they said it never really happened, but they were all scared of her, and she was like a straight monster, and she didn't care. Like, she went to court like, I did it and I do it again. She was all of the things, like just as loud and boisterous, and And I never understood how somebody could miss school that long and the school just not say anything. Because my daughter is like hybrid, like homeschool and online. And the online is kind of it's not mandatory, it's discretionary. And so a lot of times she doesn't go online at all. And if she does not like appear online for her teacher to see a visual, because they do assign you a teacher and they're there to help you and to guide you while you're guiding your kid. But if she don't see a visual, I'm gonna get a text. Okay, we haven't heard from you. Do you need anything? Yeah, I'm gonna be calling you tomorrow, and I need to talk to Danielle. Okay. So they do it like a and that's considered a public school. And when my other kids were younger, because you know Danielle's by herself, she's like almost like an only kid because my kids are adults. And I remember like I used to get letters. That's how I knew that my child was late for school. They would send me these party letters and threaten to throw me in jail. Every other week I was getting threatened. I'm like, if you don't take your tail, well, I don't got time to go to my locker and get to my class on time. Or I was in lunch and I ain't finished eating, so I was a little late. I'm like, they trying to put me in jail because you tardy, but you in school every day. So I guess it's just not really reconciling with me how all this can be going on with this young lady in school just does like has no clue either. So it's just a lot of dropping the ball in this case to me. Hey, Be the Light, good to see you. Remember that story? Yeah. She cut up in court. She sure did. She was like, and what? I do what? She was like, I'm about that life. What? I was like, it's the audacity for me. But yeah, it's interesting. And Peachy Bama said we get them now, but if the child isn't enrolled, unfortunately there are loopholes that they can get around. I could see that too. But they have to be enrolled somewhere, right? So, for example, if I take my child out of a school, I gotta take them to. I have to re-enroll them in another school, right? Don't you have to transfer the file to another school? And doesn't the other school have to acknowledge receipt? Or wouldn't you communicate with the other school and say, "Did you get these? Did you get this folder? Did you get this file?" Do you take a parent's word like, "Oh, we just moved," and that's it? Obviously every parent is not a parent. They just have that name. And so even though there are great parents out here, you have to treat everyone as if they may not be. So I guess the double checking to make sure, it just seems like you would do that. Because I'm telling you, they used to be on my neck. They had me nervous. And then I had a case before related to truancy. It was the lady and her daughter, her kids, I think it was like second and third grade, and she was in a DV relationship. And she said so she was bouncing from place to place. And because she was bouncing from place to place, it was a lack of instability. She didn't always have a babysitter. She didn't always have the transportation to get her kids to school. And she got a charge. Like she was there. I think it was she pled down to something. But yeah, she was definitely charged. It was like 3 or 4 counts for them not going to school. And the judge was like, just this is their education. How are you going to and hinder their education at this age? And it was a whole lecture. Just what? No, well, you. I understand you having this situation that you say you're going through, but you're gonna have to figure it out because these kids got to be at school. So yeah, it's just a different day and age. It seems like the kids aren't following up. The schools aren't following up. I'm sorry. Hey Jay, good to see you. Buffalo school system sends a call out the same day if a kid is absent without no. Yeah, that's how North Carolina. is too. We have kids in North Carolina, and baby, they miss period one. Like, where were you at period one? And sometimes they'll like send it out immediately and they just come in late, so they're not necessarily absent, but they'll say they're absent for the whole period. And I used to be mad, like going off on my kids for that. Then it was like they were just late, and then the teacher didn't fix it, and they all have an automated system or whatnot. But yeah,
There's a Harbor Freight store in your neighborhood, so stop by, neighbor.
child, in his high school days, I dropped my kids off, walked him into the school, spoke to the AP for a week, and his ass still skipped class and got a warning letter about you. Oh, yeah. Okay, so in Detroit, the way the schools used to be, you would almost walk through the front door, get dropped off, and walk out the back door. If you were like in that skipping mode, I'm not going to say I never skipped school. Okay. I've been to Belle Isle a couple of times when I should have been in English class. But I never did it like enough to fail classes or for it to become a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Like back then, I'm older too. But yeah, we used to skip school. And then we had skip day. Like when you were a senior, you had skip day. And everybody skipped. So we planned our skip day. We planned on not going to school. But yeah. My son said he's never skipped school. Let me think about that. You know, what I can say about my son, though, is, did I ever get any calls from you skipping school or not coming? I don't think I've ever got any calls. What I will say is, he was always responsible, where he would get up on his own. I never got him up. He had to be to school at like 7:45. He would be walking out the door because he walked to school. He walks home. Yeah, I never really had a problem with school with him. I think he only had like one fight in high school. He got suspended one time. Mm-hmm. In the 80s, they never called my parents in high school. I, I skipped in the night. That's me. We in the same era, honey. In the 90s, yeah. We skipped school, but we took care of our business, so it never came back to bite us. Now, kids, I guess they just don't go to school. I never had the guts to just don't go to school. Like, who does that? Don't go to school and just hang out all day? Like, no. Like, I didn't, if we had half a days or something, I didn't go. A lot of the times, like, I never understood going to school for 3 hours. I'm like, and I had to catch the bus. I'm like, no, ma'am, no, sir. 3 hours? Like, I gotta get up an hour earlier so that I can get to this bus stop and hope the 7 mile is running with the grass shift so I can get there on time. Because I had to take 2 buses. So hope that I get there on time. And then I'm only going for 3 hours? I was like, nah, I used to go there at McDonald's. So I could go to the 7 mile and tell my friends, like, yo, I'm over here at McDonald's. You want to come over here? Mm-mm.
What else is being said?
They're talking about one that they know about, but I didn't get suspended for fighting. Technically, they had no proof. You did get suspended because they talked to me, Jay. You got suspended for a day. Now, the other guy got suspended longer, and he was an adult. So I think he got charged, too. But, no, I remember that because I was mad. I was like, so you telling me he defended himself and he gets suspended too? Oh, in middle school, you got suspended. And then I had to fight the school, threaten litigation. They was trying to like kick him out for a long time. And then got them right. And then he went back to school. So I think they took that off his record though. So technically that doesn't count. But high school, I remember that fight with that big guy because the video was all over the internet. Imagine you scrolling and you like, dang, that looked like one of my kids. The video on the internet, that looked like. Then your son come home and his clothes ripped. I'm like, yeah, that was you. That was you on that video. I said, Lord have mercy. Glad you ain't get mocked for the world to see, so we appreciated that part of it. But yeah, when it was time to graduate, I begged the typing class teacher to pass me. You were tripping, Rhonda. You were tripping in school. You thought you were gonna flunk typing? Typing? Yeah, you were tripping. Aristocrat said I skipped classes in junior high. Was caught up by those truancy officers in Coney Island back in the late 60s. Oh wow. You talking about Coney Island? Where's Coney Island? Is that like in what is that in New Jersey?
No, Brooklyn.
Isn't that like because we got Belle Isle? Isn't that like a beach or something? I remember Whitehead. I'm gonna show y'all something with Whitehead too while we on here. I remember Whitehead doing a baptismal over there in Coney Island. It's in Brooklyn. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Coney Island's in Brooklyn, Pam.
You said yes, but fighting was 45 days. I got suspended for being at CBS, which I wasn't. He tried to snitch on me. He got arrested because he visibly in a fight. I just had dirt on my jeans.
Say higher education is outdated, irrelevant. We say don't settle for the status quo. At Grand Canyon University,
Arrested because he visibly in a fight. I just had dirt on my jeans. All right, hold on. I gotta show y'all this Whitehead. Hold on. Let me see. Y'all be sending me so many DMs. Hold on.
this wasn't in the church, but it involved, I'm going to just say it, a cricket preacher. In Atlanta? This was actually in New York. It was at the Yankee Stadium 50 years of hip hop anniversary thing. I went and did my thing, which was a phenomenal experience. Yeah. I went and did my thing. And when I got off, JD was right there. And JD was like, yo, man, you did that. You know what I'm saying? And, positive experience. I was right there with my brother. And I was right there with JD. And we were talking about, the set and what he thought about it. And it was a preacher walked up. It was the preacher that was, I think he was in Brooklyn, the one that got robbed on camera or something. Oh, yeah. So with him, and then he was like pulling JD, put his arm around JD, kind of like on some, like on some, like, I don't know, I ain't like it. But he put his arm around JD. And he was like, yeah, man, I've been trying to get with you because I need to come down there to Atlanta. I say, no, don't you ain't bringing that. That's my town. You said it right here. This house. This what's going on. Here where you at, my man. And I don't know why I responded that way. I don't know, but it just didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? Right. It sounded like somebody, because I think how he leaned.
Sound to me, T.I. got convicted by the Holy Spirit. What it sound like me? Sound like the Spirit came on T.I. and said, "Be gone, Satan."
Into it kind of felt like somebody that was trying to come and open up a trap in a new town. That's just what it felt like. Yeah. And I say, nah, bro, you keep that there. He was like, well, brother, I say, nah, we straight. Yeah. And I and JD was looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Nah, the spirit told me, bro, that don't belong down. Right. Straight. Yeah. And lo and behold, later on, we found that he was exactly what I felt was the case. This wasn't in the church.
Yeah, my battery trying to die, y'all. So that mean I've been out here too long. But yeah, I thought that was funny. I was like, how people still talking about Whitehead and he and they're still trying to get out? Like they've been kind of talking about him as if he just came out or something. Shoot, we was talking about him forever. But it's very interesting how his whole talking points was that he was this celebrity pastor, but then you see all these celebrities that can't stand him. I'm just like, nobody likes you, bro. Nobody likes you. Okay? In other news, Attorney Blackburn is over there struggling, okay? He just got sanctioned again for AI over there in New Jersey. Was that New Jersey? No, was that New
Man,
Jersey? I think it was
Tyrone
New
always
Jersey.
struggling. What's new?
Let's see. I said, dang. Blackburn can't catch a break.
Just can't get right.
Let's get to cut to the chase. This is in the Liza Gardner. Remember, that's the Sean Combs, Aaron Hall case. They just found Aaron Hall. They said he was running and ducking and dodging, trying not to get served, and he just got served. Well, in the interim, while they were trying to serve him, apparently Tyrone Blackburn had to respond to a motion. And, in Tyrone Blackburn fashion, apparently they are alleging that he used AI and he messed up again. In his response to that oral arguments, Mr. Blackburn confirmed that he indeed used AI that provided him with hallucinated case law and propositions that he then incorporated into his response brief and that he failed to verify on subsequent review. So he admitted it. For the reasons set forth below, the court will impose both monetary and non-monetary sanctions on Mr. Blackburn. Courts are
Yes,
wrong.
it should.
So let's see what the judge ordered ultimately. In conclusion, Mr. Blackburn's admission of responsibility and remorse expressed at the order to show cause hearing do not completely excuse his lack of diligence, especially in light of the pattern behavior identified. Though mitigating factors may exist, the court finds that they are not sufficient to avoid the imposition of Rule 11 sanctions. Therefore, the court concludes that a combination of monetary and non-monetary sanctions are appropriate and should be sufficient to deter a repeat of Mr. Blackburn's conduct. All payments shall be made to the clerk of the court under the terms as specified below. Accordingly, it is hereby ordered that plaintiff's counsel, Mr. Blackburn, is sanctioned with a fine of $6,000 under Rule 11C to be made payable to the registry of this court at a rate of $500 a month, payable no later than the 10th of each month, with the first payment due on or before March 10th of 2026, and the final payment due on or about February 10th, 2027. So he got more monetary sanctions, even though in the other case with T.D. Jakes, he said he didn't have any money. Then it said on or before January 26th of 2026, Mr. Blackburn shall seek assistance from the appropriate attorney licensing entities in the states of New Jersey and New York to address the underlying issues that led to the sanctionable conduct in the action. So you got to report yourself to the bar on or before January 26, 2026. Mr. Blackburn shall self-report the OSC and this opinion in order to the appropriate attorney licensing entities of the state of New Jersey and New York for these entities to take whatever action they deem appropriate. It is further ordered that on or about February 17th, so in just about 5 short days, Mr. Blackburn shall provide a written report to the court regarding his compliance with the above orders, self-reporting, and request for assistance from the attorney licensing entities in the state of New Jersey and New York, including acknowledgement by those entities. And it is further ordered that on or before December 31st, 2025, because this came out like December, I just didn't pull it out till there was new information about alleged mental health stuff, and so we'll get into that next. Mr. Blackburn shall serve and discuss with his client, plaintiff Liza Gardner. He got to give her a copy of this opinion in order so she know what her attorney is accused of. Plaintiff's combined response brief to the motion to dismiss. You got to give how you responded to this. The OSC underlying this opinion in order. Plaintiff's letter memorandum responding to the OSC. The sanctions opinion directed at Mr. Blackburn from the Western District of Pennsylvania reference in the Jakes v. Youngblood case. Defendant's combined letter response and a transcript of the order to show cause hearing, as well as a filed proof of service on the docket. So you got to let your client know all of the things that you have been accused of in this case and in Jake's case.
This year, I want to challenge myself to try new things to help my creative workflow evolve. And I want to turn more of my illustrations into digital artwork. So I'm partnering with Adobe to design my next collection using Adobe Creative Cloud Pro. I consider myself a bit of a rookie when it comes to using the Creative Cloud.
And so in the case with Fat Joe, so remember Blackburn client sued Fat Joe for some allegations, I think, under the. But how do you just start looking at all of this illegal stuff? And you just like, oh, that ain't who I want, so we just gonna let him go. So he's trying to use that as a way to get out right now. So did y'all hit that like button? The Edric Frost case. I started a new case today, and I started going. It's another case in Michigan. And it's actually what's the name of that case? For you, my trial buffs over here. Let's see if I can find it. It was a case here in Michigan, and the guy is accused of. They found the wife's body. He's accused of unaliving her, and they found the wife's body in like a freezer fertilizer bin, like on the property or something like that. And it just started today, so I did do the So I did like watch the openings and all of that, so I was able to the issue. According to the National Institute of Justice, the FBI will continue our investigation regardless of weather conditions, said FBI Phoenix Public Affairs Officer Connor Hagan, adding, bringing Nancy home is our priority. So now they're worried about the weather for tomorrow. It's going to stop their investigation. Is Nancy a favorite famous person? Her daughter is on the Today Show. Yep. The aunt and grandmother should be in jail along with Jarvis. Okay,
Dang
yeah,
right.
we're talking about a lot of things right now. So whatever comments you have on any of our topics, we talked about Whitehead, Blackburn, Jarvis Butts is about to spill his guts. And now somebody asked about Nancy, so I had to pull Nancy up. The feds are upset that TMZ released and talked about the ransom letter. The feds wanted to keep it silent until they could follow the lead. Oh, so TMZ messing up investigations? Is that what they're alleging? They said TMZ need to stick to taking pictures of Kim Kardashian and them. They want to lead the investigation up to the investigators. I believe the sheriff on the Guthrie case quit. He was very incompetent to me. Oh, wow. It's Tucson. Okay, Tucson is the name of the place. Thank you so much, Fran Drew P. Diddy. Thank you so much. Tucson, Arizona. That's TMZ new motive. What? Y'all can tell I'm from Michigan and I don't really go anywhere, just like people can't pronounce not Nan one of our streets. And I'm like, it's Gratiot, it's not Gratiot. It's Lasher, it's not Losser. What are you doing? Because I can't name any of these cities. That's why I'll tell Dev, I'm like, we're going here. What does that say? How do you pronounce that? Because I'm going to say it how it looks. Sound it out like you learn in school. But apparently everything doesn't sound like it looks. Hey, Eris08, good to see you. All right, the woman he chose, thank you for coming. And Rhonda said just got a notification that they have suspicious vehicle on the Nancy case. Thank you so much, Rhonda Holmes, for your up to the minute news on Nancy Guthrie. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Y'all make sure you hit the like button. I know some of you all have to go. I do too. I really came just to talk about Jarvis, but you guys know I get caught up. I get caught up when I haven't been on too long. And
Okay. Pretty much what you just heard is an update on the Jarvis Butts case. As you just heard, uh, Jarvis Butts is gonna be in most likely for the next 30 years. Only thing I gotta say is good riddance and burning hell Jarvis Butts. Like, share, subscribe. See y'all later. Peace.